Hi everyone and welcome back to the channel. I hope you enjoyed my previous video on the basics of stakeholder management and the APM process. This video will cover the RICS principles of stakeholder management, what it looks like in practice and the importance of it. So, what are the principles of good stakeholder management? Principle number 1, communicate. This centers around communication preferences. Does the individual like to have phone conversations or have everything written down? Or maybe meet physically to discuss things? You can find this out with a simple question early on in the project. Do you have any communication preferences? A smart trick that I've found useful is using the Microsoft Insights tool. This is already built into Microsoft Outlook, so it's just a little button in the top right. It's quite hard to describe, it's like circle, circle, circle going out. You can actually find out using this tool how much people read your emails. You can use this to decide whether email is the best communication form to communicate with a certain client. And it's worth checking this if you're not getting replies to some of your emails. I think I looked at my line manager conversation of mine once, and he was reading about 33% of the emails I sent him, so now I just call him. Principle number 2, consult early and often. It's unlikely that a project manager will ever have perfect information about their stakeholders, but you want to ensure it's the best you can possibly get. The benefits of early and frequent stakeholder engagement, putting it simply, will be a reduction in those "I wish I knew that sooner" moments that we've all had. Consultation early and often will reduce the amount of surprises you have later in the project, and these can sometimes be showstoppers. So if you want to ensure project success, this is a key consideration. Principle 3, remember, they're only human. Humans are probably the least predictable part of a project, and as such should be treated in that kind of way. Sometimes the best plan for a stakeholder may not work, and this is called the human factor. This sounds stupid, but it's important to operate with a consciousness that humans have feelings, and this influences how they act, and the way they act will influence the outcome of the project. Principle number 4, plan it. So this is where it will tie into the plan that I went through in the previous video. Develop a plan to get the stakeholders where you want them to be. Principle number 5, relationships are key. As we know, relationships are very powerful in construction. For example, at bidding stage, despite having better offerings, you may lose out to another firm. This could be down to relationships and wanting to work with someone that you get on well with. Developing relationships is time consuming and comes naturally to some more than others, but there is a clear business benefit to doing so. So do not be afraid to apportion some time to this. You may have a client that likes to go off on tangents. You may end up listening to them for 30 minutes of your day. But these things are important to do, and you shouldn't run away from this. It may signal to your client that you don't want to talk to them, and this will have a negative impact on the relationship. Principle 6, simple but not easy. Stakeholder management is easy to do, but is rarely done well. It can sometimes be impossible to move a stakeholder's position or opinion, but it is important to have always tried. Good stakeholder management is rare, and is usually given up on due to the value of it being questioned. We will cover the importance of this in a future video, looking at survey results from the RICS on the importance of stakeholder management in the construction industry. Now, principle 7, just part of managing risk. In a nutshell, if you don't manage stakeholders in any way, you are opening yourself up to surprises later on in the project. Huge risks might be completely overlooked if the right stakeholders are not consulted early on. You are simply not managing risk well if you do not consult the stakeholders on your project. Principle number 8, compromise. It is likely that your project will have some opposition to it. It may be that your project is pulled in a number of different directions based on stakeholders' views. It may also be difficult to justify why the project suits one stakeholder more than another. And this takes a bit of political care to be able to move forward with the project without having a negative impact on any of the stakeholders. Now, there is no right way to do this, and it's all very situation dependent, but you must seek validation from your client, and maybe even include them, and to help them explain to the stakeholders why the project needs to take place in its current form. The most important thing to understand is you may have to compromise at some point. This is obviously done with consideration of the essential project objectives, but it may be useful to discuss with your client the have-to-haves, the want-to-haves, and the nice-to-haves. Principle 9, understand success. Project success is usually rated on time, cost, and quality performance indicators. But would it be worth understanding the value that is created to the stakeholders and considering this in your view of project success? I think it's certainly something that should be considered, as an end user will love the coffee shop refurbishment regardless if it's making more profit for the client. Principle 10, take responsibility. A final principle to consider is maybe someone should be given the title or responsibility of stakeholder management. This will then make it clear that it's a function that needs to take place as part of their service. I think this is a perfect responsibility for the project manager. It gives them greater reason to attribute time to the process as well, and it may get rid of the misconception that it is a waste of time. So that's all for today, part 2 of the mini-series on stakeholder management. Next time, we're going to take a look at some of the survey results that came out of the RICS on the importance of stakeholder management in the construction industry. I really look forward to any feedback you have, and if you think I've missed anything, please let me know down in the comments section below. Thanks for watching. Consider giving this video a like if you enjoyed and subscribing if you would like to see more.